Hey guys, big news here. Big news. We got some drama. Who doesn't like a little bit of drama? Hold on, my camera's not fucking... My camera's fucked up. Give me a minute. There we go. There we are. What's up, everybody? Jordan, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the show. We got some big drama that we're going to be reacting to. It's Monday. It's Drama Monday. We're going to be watching some bullshit. I gotta pay my rent, fix my credit score. So we gotta stream. We gotta do it. You know, I could just be sitting here having fun, but you know, we gotta be controversial. We gotta be insane. We gotta be clip farming. We got to boost that credit score. I just want to welcome everybody to the chat. Welcome everybody to the show. Now, big news here. We got Don't Walk, Run Productions. Space racism. No, we're not doing space racism. What do you think this is? We did Warhammer yesterday. Fuck off. We're watching drama today. That's what we're doing today. Excuse me. Excuse me. So some big news here. Jimmy Kimmel. We all love Jimmy Kimmel, right? No, not really. More like no. I don't know. I'm not going to judge. Kimmel, I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel. I don't. I'd be lying if I did. I don't think he's funny anymore. So, this guy, though. I like this guy, though. Don't Walk Runs. Jimmy Kimmel is lame? Yes, Jimmy Kimmel is lame. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know why everybody's saying, oh, free speech, this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, let's just be honest. Jimmy Kimmel is fucking boring. He's boring. I don't find him funny. My parents were watching him, like, a couple nights ago. They were laughing their asses off. And I'm just sitting there, like, I'm bored out of my mind. Anyways, we're going to watch this. We're going to react to this. We're going to see what everybody's thinking about good old Kimmel. We were supposed to do this Saturday, but kind of got distracted, kind of got bored. So let's see what's going on here.
Jimmy Kimmel. This is Jimmy Kimmel, the host of ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live. On September 15th, just 5 days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Kimmel said the following during his opening monologue.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize.
He's funny to boomers and kids with disabilities. I don't know. I'm a kid with disabilities. I find this boring as shit.
To score political points from it.
So what Kimmel is saying is that the suspected killer of Charlie Kirk was a pro-Trump Republican.
That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. Physically disabled. Oh, right. Yeah, no, I'm not there yet. My back feels physically disabled though. I'm in pain for the last fucking 2 weeks. No, okay. So this one's funny though, where it's like, it's a MAGA guy. It's like, if you read the bullets.
Even though it had been widely reported that he was an unaffiliated voter who didn't vote in the past 2 general elections. And
not going to the gym. No, you know what the problem is? I can't. Not going to the gym ain't a disability. That's fair. The only reason why I haven't been to the gym, the only reason why, everything is broken. I swear to God, everything is broken. I went there, like, last week. The treadmill, the fucking, the bike, everything was just busted. You could still lift weights. There's nothing wrong with lifting weights, but, like, I have weights at home. They're, like, right behind my bed. So I can do that here and there. Or, like, you know, doing some push-ups, but that's my excuse for not going to the gym.
Leftist ideology. So what Kimmel said was not only a lie, but to many, it was seen as inflammatory. And you might be thinking, wait, isn't this supposed to be a comedy show?
Yes.
On a human level,
no,
you
it's
can
a comedy.
see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend.
This one's funny.
May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is...
That's funny. It's like, listen, oh, hey, Mr. Trump, we're deeply sorry about your friend. How do you feel? Well, the homie's dead. The homie's gone. Rest in peace to the homie. But if you look at the ballroom, we got a beautiful ballroom. One of the greatest, probably the most awesomest ballroom ever. We got construction starting. We got construction. We got a lot of guys. We're fixing the ballroom. Ballroom blitz. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be beautiful. Like my daughter. Beautiful. Even the speech his wife gave. I'm gonna be honest. I like this. You know what? I like the speech she gave. It's just theater. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? We got to think of it like a high-profile figure, right? Like this was a man on a mission. This was his crusade. So, if you're his wife, right? You love him. You love this person. You want to continue their legacy as much as possible. And I think this is their way of continuing that legacy. Actually, not even I think. It is. It is just a way to continue their legacy. Because like give it some thought. Give it some thought, right? Like your husband, right? Is always on TV, always on the news, he's going all over the place. Like that was his thing. That was his dream. You know, like it's spreading the word of God. So what's the best way to do that? You have a big fucking spectacle of a funeral. And you know what? I don't think, and that too, that wasn't the actual funeral. They did have a real funeral, like a few days later. Like you saw her with, like with everybody was there, like all of his friends, so like JD Vance was there. There was also like his wife's friends and such. Like you saw the video of Kirk in the casket when she was holding his hand. So like they had the private funeral. This is more or less the public funeral. So like, is it a little bit more like theatrical and a little bit more yeah, that's the word, theatrical? Yeah, it is. Is it in a negative? Is it a negative? I don't think so. I think it's respectful. I think it's, if anything, it's respectful to his cause. You know what I mean? Like it's a turning point. He was a man who, again, he wanted to spread the word of God. He wanted to spread the word of conservatism, and I think this was a way for them to do that, and it's pretty successful.
Something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years, and it's going to be a
This was just funny.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
Construction.
Demolition, construction.
So nice that Jimmy Kimmel is making fun of someone's grieving process. Who is he to judge? What a dick.
This is not how an...
Okay, I gotta chuckle. You saw that. I gotta chuckle. The fourth stage of grief, construction. The problem is, it's not in good faith. Because, you know, this is a guy who's constantly lied, or like he's constantly lied. He's constantly, like, messed with the truth. It's like, if it was somebody who said that, and again, it's like good faith and bad faith. It's like, you know, this is in bad faith, so it's still funny. It's still funny, I'll admit that, but I think everyone's mad at it is because it wasn't really done in good faith. They're just putting a show for the sheep. It lost all sincerity when they decided to put her on a podium in an office. They ain't even trying to hide it anymore. Well, like I said, there was two funerals. You have the one that was private, that was for everybody who was close to Kirk, and then you had one that was public. Right? Because, like I said, he's a public figure. You know, he's a well-known and well-loved individual. And like I said, I think she wanted to continue that legacy. And how do you do that? How do you get people together, right? How do you get them together? You get them in a big room and you share the message. You know, that's what I'm trying to get at with this.
Adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish.
So just on a human level, why is Jimmy Kimmel making jokes related to a major political figure's murder? Not only is this mean and cruel, but it's it's really inappropriate. Look, if Jimmy Kimmel thinks that making jokes related to an assassination is okay, I mean, who are we to judge? Maybe I just don't understand comedy.
Haven't seen it?
Anyway,
I haven't
2
seen
days
it.
Later,
If you want to send it into if you want to send it into the Discord, I can watch it there.
Chairman Brendan Carr made a media
Just put it in like
appearance
general or
and
memes. I don't care.
suggested
I'll check
that
it out.
Jimmy Kimmel's words may have violated FCC guidelines.
You can't be engaging in a pattern of news distortion. We have a rule on the book that interprets a public interest standard that says news distortion is something that is prohibited. Likewise, we have a rule that addresses broadcast hoaxes.
Chairman Carr is referring to the fact that the FCC prohibits broadcasting fake information about a crime or a catastrophe if the broadcaster knows that the information is false and will cause substantial public harm if aired.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense because I mean, there was a lot of fake information going on. I mean, shit, like a guy got shot for it. So if that's the rule they're going by, then I can understand that.
FCC is prohibited by law from engaging in censorship or infringing on the First Amendment rights of the press. It is, however, illegal for broadcasters to intentionally distort the news, and the FCC may act on complaints if there is documented evidence of such behavior from persons with direct personal knowledge. In other words, the FCC can't just look at something and go, "Hey, ABC, your boy Kimmel is saying things that we don't like."
So somebody
They would need
snitched.
to receive complaints about it from the public, and then the FCC would vote on what action to take, if any.
So I'm guessing they got a fuck ton of emails after that. They're getting like a crap ton of calls and emails.
Effort to mislead the American people about a very core fundamental fact, a very important matter. At the end of the day, if we do get called upon to cast a vote on this, Disney will have a chance to put in their arguments and explain it. But this is a very, very serious issue right now for Disney.
Again, Chairman Carr isn't saying anything about the FCC taking action on their own because they aren't the content police. But you could say that he was making a not so subtle call to action for the viewing public to file complaints and for the people broadcasting Kimmel to do something about it. In their reporting on the matter, The Hollywood Reporter wrote that within hours, multiple ABC station owners held calls with senior Disney leadership.
Is this why everybody's like pissed off at Disney? Because like a lot of people are pissed off at Disney. Like, everyone's kind of like losing their minds or losing their marbles over like Disney. I honestly didn't know Disney had anything to do with this because it's like, we hate you, Disney now, and it's like, my brother in Christ, I thought you guys were friends. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just an idiot. I don't know.
Expressing their concern with the comments. THR reported on Wednesday that Kimmel did not plan to apologize for his comments, but did plan to address the situation on air. So Dana Walden, co-chairman of Disney Entertainment, spoke to Kimmel about his plan and how he was going to respond to the criticism, the concerns of the affiliates, and Brendan Carr's remarks. The Wall Street Journal writes, a person close to the show said that Kimmel was planning to say that his words were being purposefully twisted by some members of the Make America Great Again movement. So not only was he not going to apologize, but he was going to double down and blame MAGA. Jimmy Kimmel is a f***ing child. Kimmel had also planned to address FCC Chairman Carr's comments on his show Wednesday night, according to some people familiar with the matter. After the conversation between Kimmel and Walden, she and other senior executives thought that the star's approach could make the situation worse. In the meantime, Sinclair Broadcast Group and Nexstar Media Group, who operate 66 local ABC affiliates between them, both released...
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be 100% here. I've heard like 3 different acronyms, ABC, FCC, Disney. I'm now lost. We're saying letters here. We're just saying letters now. It's getting really all over the place. Is it just me?
They would preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely. Sinclair, the larger of the two groups, wrote, due to the problematic comments regarding the murder of Charlie Kirk in programming provided to its broadcast stations by ABC, Sinclair and its partners, which operate ABC stations in 30 markets in the US, will stop airing Jimmy Kimmel's show until further notice. Soon
Oh, boy.
after, Disney, who owns ABC, decided that Jimmy Kimmel Live
Disney
would be
owns
preempted
everything.
indefinitely. Now, to be clear, the FCC didn't take Kimmel off the air. It was Disney, because his comments about the Charlie Kirk situation have generated too much outrage, and there needs to be a cooling off period. Bloomberg reports that Disney wants Kimmel back on the air.
So wait, if the FCC isn't the one who got rid of him, why is everybody mad? Is that just me? Like, why is okay, it's a little weird that everybody is mad, like, oh, you know, they're censoring him, it's government censorship, blah, blah, blah. If the FCC didn't do it, then it's not government censorship. It's Disney censorship. But I mean, Disney did it for, like, yeah, it's a cooling off period. You pissed a lot of people off. Like, a guy died. So I don't really think everybody's in the mood to kind of, you know, hear these guys, like, hear them speak.
Chief Executive Bob Iger and entertainment head Dana Walden have also asked him to tone down his political rhetoric. Kimmel won't apologize, nor does he want to be muzzled or censored. He also doesn't want to put 200 employees out of work or give Trump a scalp.
But he
At this
did.
point-
He did put 200 employees out of work. His show got canned. That's what I feel bad for the most. Like, the people who lost all their jobs. And the market is tough. Right? Like, film crews, writers, you know, security for the event and everything. Like, all these people now have to find new jobs because he couldn't keep his mouth shut. And this is again, it's a cancel culture. Like, on the other, it's now cancel culture happening to them. It's funny because these are the guys who this is one of those guys who constantly said, like, oh, you know, haha, it's funny, this guy got canceled. You can't say that. You can't say that. But then he says that he gets canceled. Now he's pissed off, and it's all freedom of speech. It's like, really?
Kimmel ends up making an apology, no one is going to believe that it's genuine. But if he doesn't apologize, Sinclair and Nexstar will continue to preempt the show, and then Disney will have no choice but to cancel Jimmy Kimmel Live. Womp womp.
So I think we really need to make very clear that the First Amendment does not allow us, the
That's
FCC,
important.
to tell broadcasters what they can broadcast. Personally, I'd rather not speak ill of the dead, but I understand Jimmy Kimmel is a satirist and a comedian. I saw the clip. He did not make any unfounded claims, but he did make a joke, one that others may even find crude.
That was Anna Gomez,
Uh-huh.
the Biden-appointed FCC commissioner, saying Jimmy Kimmel was making a joke, and he didn't make any unfounded claims. Gomez's term ends on July 1st, 2026, which can't come fast enough.
To recap, Kimmel made a joke on air where he suggested that the man who killed Charlie Kirk in that awful murder
Was one
was
of
a
them.
supporter of the MAGA movement. Now, that is not true. Kimmel was wrong on the facts, at least as he suggested them in the joke.
What joke? Or maybe I'm missing something. Let's play the Kimmel clip again.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Is the joke in the room with us now, Chris? But look, there seems to be a concerted effort by
Okay.
the left to downplay the severity of what Kimmel said. You can't go after him for making a joke. Here's Tim Miller from The Bulwark to explain why what Kimmel said was funny.
What he is saying here is that the MAGA gang is desperately trying to characterize the kid as anything other than one of them. The kind of the joke is about
Like,
how
he's
MAGA
he's
is
not
out there
though.
being super desperate to, you know, try to use this to their political advantage.
Oh, wow! I get it now.
I got the
Thanks,
joke.
Tim.
What we're seeing just in the last
It wasn't
48
funny,
hours,
but I got the joke.
Really, in the last 48 hours, is the single biggest attack on free speech by state actors I've ever seen in my life, unfolding before our eyes.
But Jimmy
Weren't you old enough to see the collapse of the Soviet Union?
Kimmel's so-called joke was not about criticizing the government. Kimmel was making a statement that was blatantly false, And there are rules set by Congress about lying on public airwaves.
Look, I'm honestly, this is very concerning. I think first, Jimmy Kimmel is a late night host. He's a comedian. We have the First Amendment in this country. Folks have the right to say what's on their mind, and certainly in a monologue on a late night show.
He's a comedian. He should be able to say what he wants on late night TV, right? No, he doesn't have that right. That's the whole point. And as a congressman, Robert Garcia should know that Congress passed the Communications Act of 1934, which regulates what you can and can't say. Why do you
Which, you know, I don't like that. It sounds like it can be easily abused. I don't think this is one of those cases, but it does sound like it could be easily
the
abused.
FCC exists.
It is outrageous. It's a page right out of Xi's playbook. This is just despicable, disgusting, and against democratic values. Trump and his allies seem to want to shut down speech that they don't like to hear. That is not what democracies do.
Isn't that what you
That is
people
what
do?
Autocracies do. And it doesn't matter whether you agree with Kimmel or not. He has the right to free speech.
2.5 years earlier.
Last night, Fox News aired one of the most shameful hours we have
Oh,
ever
there's no
seen
fucking
in
way.
history.
I said, isn't that what you do?
Of cable television. Rupert Murdoch, who has admitted they were lies and said he regretted it, has a special obligation to stop Tucker Carlson from going on tonight now that he's seen how he has perverted and slimed the truth. And
Yeah, it
from
did
letting
go
him
out the
on
window.
again and again and again. And he's going to come back tonight with another segment. Fox News should tell him not to. Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, tell Carlson not to run a second segment of lies. You know it's a lie.
So when Tucker Carlson lies, it's bad.
It's bad, but when Jimmy Kimmel lies, it's free speech.
Jimmy Kimmel lies, he can say what he wants because free speech.
I fucking called it. I called it. I didn't watch this video before. It came out an hour ago? Fuck.
So 1 month after Chuck Schumer called for Fox News to take Tucker Carlson off the air, Fox News terminated Tucker's contract. Where was the media outrage over the trampling of Tucker's free speech? Well,
No, they didn't give a shit.
Jimmy Kimmel on the matter.
Fox News has severed bow ties with Tucker Carlson. After all these years, they are parting ways, which means he was fired. I mean, that's really what parting ways means. Tucker couldn't be reached for comment. He's already on a plane to Moscow to meet with his manager. But what a shock. I mean, what an absolutely delightful shock this is.
So when Tucker is taken off the air, it's time for a celebration. But when Jimmy Kimmel is taken off the air, it's trampling on free speech.
Sorry, the sun.
remember
Okay,
when
I had to close my window because the sun is just burning my legs.
Kimmel celebrated Donald Trump, a sitting president, being banned from all social media.
It's been unusually quiet over the past few days because Trump has been banned from Twitter permanently. Trump has been suspended from Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and even Snapchat. But don't worry, Mr. President, there are still plenty of apps.
Also, Trump is on true. Okay, so when the whole thing with these crazies online, right? The whole Blue Sky thing. I didn't know what this Blue Sky was until now. So Blue Sky is left Twitter, Truth Social is right Twitter, and X is just regular Twitter. So we now have 3 Twitters, and everybody on these 3 Twitters are just a bunch of dumb twats. That's what I've got.
You do have access to. You still have Spotify to drown out the sound of millions of people cheering as you leave.
Who says female comedians aren't funny?
Not only did Trump get banned from Twitter,
That's mean.
Google, Apple, and Amazon removed the Parler app from their platforms. Parler is where all the right-wingers gather to post QAnon nonsense and misspell the word parlor.
Yep. Jimmy Kimmel celebrated the suspension of the Parler app, which affected the free speech of millions of Americans. Jimmy Kimmel didn't give a damn about your free speech, but they want you to care about whether he's on late night
Blue
TV
Sky is
or
people
not.
that lie? Yeah, sounds about right.
And no one was more upset about Parler going away than a sneaky little congressman named Devin.
But it's more than just the financial aspect of that. Republicans have no way to communicate. I have 3 million followers on Parler. Tonight, I will no longer be able to communicate with those people.
I mean, other than being on Fox News right now. Trumpers are complaining bitterly that they're being silenced. In fact, they won't shut up about being silenced.
This is the same guy. Again, this is what I mean, where it's like he made a bad joke. He made a joke that I thought was funny. I got a chuckle out of it. But I mean, it's the hypocrisy. And you don't call out your own hypocrisy. I'm a hypocrite sometimes. A lot of the times. I try not to be. But it's like, this is just blatant hypocrisy.
There are 3 propaganda TV networks on 1,000 conservative radio shows all over the internet. They are screaming about being silenced. They won't be silent about being silenced.
So by that reasoning, Jimmy Kimmel isn't being silenced. He can always make an appearance on CNN or MS Now or The View or even Don Lemon's TikTok.
This is really scary. The First Amendment is over.
Anyway, that's it for now. Please visit my new merch store at don'twalkrun.shop. And as always, thank you so
Well, that was funny. Give Don't Walk Run Productions a like and subscribe. Love this guy. Love his videos. I saw this one too, this journalist one. It was so fucking weird.
This is Karen.
And we're gonna go circle back. Anyway, there's a new video here that came out a day ago, Diesel Patches. It's Lilly Singh. Anybody here remember Lilly Singh? No? Aw. Yeah, no, Lilly Singh. Interesting one.
Today I'm
So Lilly Singh is another comedian, and I guess she's back. She was kind of gone for a little while. She had her own show, the Lilly Singh Show. It was like in one of BuzzFeed's like it was in one of BuzzFeed's like low end offices, which is, if anything, it was more like somebody's garage, if you know what I mean.
Yes, everyone. Today
That's where
I'm
her show was
talking
hosted.
about funny late night host Lilly Singh. Believe it or not, it's been only 2 years since Lilly has made an appearance on this channel, when 2 other YouTubers and myself reacted to her cameo in a Darman video.
What up, Jesse? It's your girl, Superwoman.
Why does she look like that? Why does she act like that?
Why is he standing like that?
Well, the reason why I'm talking about Lilly today is because she has just released a feature-length film called Doing It, and it's kind of horrible. Lilly has actually been in recognizable movies before, even if most of them are shit. But this is the first time she starred as the main character, along with being a co-writer and executive producer. So it's safe to say Lilly had a decent amount of input here. And now, as I'm recording, the film is supposed to release this week. Unfortunately, I have no friends to go to the theater with, so to save myself the embarrassment of looking like a fat, smelly loser, I'll just be reviewing the trailer from my bedroom today, and then buy the full movie on Blu-ray.
Maybe you can learn with the students how to locate the G-spot.
Get her out of here! Have you lost your fucking mind?
I am teaching these kids.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't want to watch it. I for the love of all that is holy, I do not need to see this. All right, everyone, that's enough of her. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some more water. All right, I'm back. Back, chat. I'm back. Y'all miss me? This is interesting. Canadian politics to be removed from YouTube as Bill C9 moves forward. Everyone wants to talk about free speech getting removed. Canada has been always removing free speech.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. We need to talk about Bill C9, or the hate speech bill that is now being brought forward into Canada by, well, the man who started everything from being ruined in the first place, Sean Fraser. When we talk about Sean Fraser and we talk about what's happening, a lot of people are misunderstanding because they tried to dress this up.
This guy's background, everything behind him is like interesting. Like all the NES games in their full boxes. He's got Devastator, like all the individual parts. He's got lightsabers. He's got Back to the Future 1 and 2. Where's that? Yeah, 1 and 2. He's got Soundwave and Optimus Prime. All on one side, nerd shit. And then it's all political shit right here, except for the Zelda book. Wait, hold on. Okay, political shit here. Then more gamer shit. And also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
First, it's an online harms act. It's going to save your children. It's going to protect them from online harassment, bullying. They always try to dress it up.
Is that a proton pack?
It's for our own good. Does that sound familiar? What's really alarming is this could potentially be the end of YouTube for political commentators. It could be the end of a lot of things that you come to appreciate in terms of free speech in this country, especially while people on the left are out there screaming about what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. What's going to happen in Canada? Well, they're silencing everybody.
Yeah.
We're going to get into how they use...
And everybody voted for it. The majority. They got the majority.
The death of Charlie Kirk as a platform to essentially...
Yeah, I gotta ask. This is an important question. Should I get Wendy's now? I'm sorry. I'm very fucking hungry. I want Wendy's. Remember how, like, last stream I was saying, like, hey, can somebody spot me $30 for Wendy's? Can someone give a homie $30 for some Wendy's? Pretty please. I'm fucking hungry.
Push their latest
I'm
narrative in
joking.
the House of Commons. Like I said, it could mean the end for everybody. We're just going to move over here to old Twitter. Bill C9, combating hate act. Parliament just introduced Bill C9. It's got some interesting elements. Here's what's inside and why you should be concerned. As we scroll down, it kind of gives the layman's terms. 1, no more AG oversight. Removes the Attorney General's consent for hate speech prosecutions. Translation, prosecutions can now move ahead without a political safeguard. Very dangerous. 2, symbol bans. Looking at you, meme guys. So here we go. Here's where we start censoring people's ability to express themselves online. Criminalizes public display of certain symbols. Bad guy from WW2 stuff. Terrorist group emblems. Now they use that to dress it up again and say that they can't do this, but you could be silenced over, as it says above, memes.
I mean, it could happen. I'll admit that. I'm just thinking, though, imagine everybody who's, like, opening up their Hindu temples with the swastikas, and it's like, what the fuck? Or everybody in Swastika, Ontario now. They're like, fuck, we can't live here anymore.
Justin Trudeau to... well, the funny mustache man from World War II. I know. See, this is the problem. You can't say certain things. I know other channels say them, folks, but when you do say them, if you don't know how YouTube works, it actually shoves your video down. They start saying that it isn't gender, age, disability, gender ID, etc. Punishments escalate up to life in prison. Subjective and wide open for abuse. Restrictions around...
Yeah, that's how hate crimes work. I mean, it's going to depend on the crime.
Religious and cultural sites. So when you think about all the Palestinian protests that are going on, when you think about people's frustrations as those protests are mounting, you're not allowed to say anything about it now. And
I
many
think
people
this
in the-
is supposed to be against everybody who's kind of like, going and say, okay, I can see why they're doing it. I can see the problems. I think the problem, okay, this guy's video is boring. I'm going to be honest. I think the problem here is they're doing this out of reaction because there's been a lot of attacks on people for all these groups, and this is their way of fixing that. Now, there is a lot of loopholes that this could be there's a lot of different interpretations, and there are loopholes in how the bills are written. It's just you can, because these people are just foreseeing the problems that could come up, but I know why they're doing it. I don't think it's for any nefarious reason. However, nefarious actors could end up using these laws against the populace. Kind of like gun laws here. Let me see
Confusion
this. We're going to skip this video. No offense to him. But, the way it's structured kind of is like boring. I don't know how much there's not really that much commentary I can add to it.
Confusion over the Liberals' so-called gun buyback. Hi, I'm Brian Lilly, political columnist with the Toronto Sun. It's been a weird couple of years as the Trudeau Liberals, now the Carney Liberals, have decided to ban hundreds and hundreds of variants of different firearms, long guns, hunting guns, duck guns, all kinds. And they've just put them all under the military assault weapons ban that they announced in May of 2020.
They don't know what assault weapons are. They don't know what half of these guns are. They say they do, and it's like, oh, it's a scary assault weapon, and it's like, or an assault rifle, it's military. And it's like, if you gave this to your military, we're fucked. It's a semi-automatic it's a semi-automatic hunting rifle. If you're going to use that in a war setting, you're screwed. Like, the Russians are going to be the Russians are going to be taking over from up north. And it's like, okay, quick, use all these seized weapons that we got from, like these seized military assault style weapons that the civilians were using. The Russians, they got fully automatic 5.45s, right? Like, I'm sorry, but Tony's semi-automatic AR-15 is not going to go against, frickin' Vasily's fully automatic AK-74. I'm sorry. It's just not how it works.
No. They said they were going to buy back those guns. I know. They never owned them in the first place. That's why I call it a so-called gun buyback. But they haven't even gotten to that position to be able to do anything yet. So what is going on here? Tracy Wilson is with the CCFR and joins me now to talk about this. Tracy, we had these comments from both Prime Minister Mark Carney on Ryan Jesperson's show talking about how this is a voluntary program. We had Minister Gary say, oh yeah, it's a voluntary program, but nobody would explain what that is. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, I know exactly what they mean by it being voluntary. So gun owners actually have three choices. You can participate in the confiscation program, provide the government your legally acquired firearms.
Now, just so folks are clear, let me pause you there. Is that what you're calling the buyback?
Yes.
You're calling it confiscation.
Yeah, it is a confiscation program. So
if I'm going to take something of yours, that's a confiscation. Like, okay, what do you call it? If somebody breaks into your house, starts taking your shit, but throws money at you, are you going to call that a sale, or are you going to call that a robbery? It's like, thank you for giving me money. You still stole my shit that wasn't for sale. You know what I mean?
You're right. They didn't sell them to us in the first place. But yeah, the buyback.
They've never owned these guns, but
No,
they're
did not.
demanding you hand them over.
Yeah, I highly doubt many of them would qualify for a firearms license. But in any event, so you have three choices. You can comply with it. You can hand in your firearms to the government for destruction and hopefully get some sort of compensation for it. Your other choice is if you want to keep those firearms, you can actually. However, you are going to have them professionally deactivated and, in other words, destroyed at your own cost. And it's somewhere between $500 and $700 per firearm at your own cost. And of course, you would be able to keep the junk that is left over. They would be completely destroyed, never able to fire again. Or your
But
third
if you-
option, of course, is to not comply with any of it and subject yourself to potentially lengthy prison sentences and the destruction of your life.
I've been thinking about this for a while. Does this mean Canadians can go to the U.S. and claim asylum? Because think about it, right? This is in the Constitution, a God-given right. Your rights are being infringed. There's a right to freedom of speech, and your right to bear arms is being infringed upon heavily. I'm just thinking. I'm not saying go do this, but I'm saying, is this like a possibility where you could literally just go to the United States and claim asylum? It's like, why are you claiming asylum? This is why? Oh, that makes sense.
So I guess
it
when
sounds
you want
ridiculous.
to look at it
I
that
know,
way,
but I'm just thinking about it.
you know, it's voluntary in the sense that you can choose your poison, you know, which way you want the government to destroy you.
Yeah, that's a weird way to describe it as voluntary. When I heard this, I had a few people reach out to me because they know I write on this, maybe not as much as I used to, but I still write on this issue. And they said, oh, are they going to grandfather these firearms? So you can keep them. You can't take them to range. You can't use them, but you can keep them. And that's why I reached out to you. I was like, what are they talking about? None of this makes sense.
So originally in the original May of 2020 OIC, grandfathering was actually a third option. But during the time of Public Safety Minister Bill Blair, former Public Safety Minister Bill Blair, after a lot of opposition from the anti-gun lobby groups,
Thank God he
they
got
removed that option for
shit-canned.
grandfathering, which to me is strange because we've never actually had a firearm confiscation program in Canada. It's when they ban guns, which they've done before, they have lots of practice at this. They've always traditionally grandfathered them. Whether it's permissive grandfathering where you are allowed to use them at the range, like a 12-6 classification, or you're just allowed to keep them. They've always done that. And of course, it costs the taxpayer nothing. And it still closes the market if that's what their intention is. So we actually presented a white paper.
Okay. Spoiler alert, none of these can be used in the military. They can't. They can't. I wouldn't want my military using these. Like okay, the M14. Okay, if that's an actual M14, not an M1A, then yeah, that's a military weapon. That was used in the military. An M14 was not. If you don't know the difference, an M1... That's not even an M14. Hold on. There's no magazine. That's an M1 Garand. You know, it might be an M14. You know, well, maybe it'd be a black M1 Garand. Okay, it might be an M14. Okay, maybe it doesn't have the magazine in it. Same thing with the Scorpion here. Like, there's no magazine. All right, never mind. Sorry. But an M1A is semi, and M14 is fully. There's no military application. I mean, besides for, like, you know, any marksman application in the military. The VZ58, that's an AK knockoff. The CX4, that was a horrible gun in battle. Actually, no. You know what? That was an okay gun in Battlefield 4. It was an okay gun. It wasn't the best, but it was an okay gun. I'm biased, though. I like my G36. Which I don't see on the list, so that means I might be able to get my baby IRL. The MCX, fuck, bro. I wanted an MCX. Just, all of these I wanted, but I can't get it now.
To the Liberal government a few weeks back on grandfathering and suggesting, you know, it as an option. I mean, when you're going to cut $100 million worth of funding to the RCMP at a time when crime is at its highest, yet spend billions of dollars collecting firearms that we've owned safely and legally for decades, if not generations, I would think that it would be a great solution to the dilemma that Mark Carney finds himself in, being stuck with Justin Trudeau's gun ban. But it's been wholly rejected, and they say they are going full steam ahead with this. So taxpayers should know that they are going to be spending an enormous amount of money. And of course, none of the firearms that are used in crime by criminals, the illegal smuggled guns, are going to be affected by this at all.
Yeah, I was just looking at the shooting stats here in Toronto, up 160% over the last decade. They're not a bunch of AR-15s. They're not a bunch of sport shooting rifles or duck shotguns, they're illegally smuggled.
Okay, all these are illegal. They're smuggled. No. We banned these guns. It's fine now. That's how it works. I don't get the logic.
Right.
That's what we're dealing with in this city. In this city that I'm sitting in, you're in Ottawa, but and Ottawa's seen an increase in shootings. Everywhere has. It's due to fentanyl. That's, those are guys using illegal guns and illegal drugs, selling them. It's not due to your members. So, but let me ask about this.
It's like you're punishing people. We're punishing like law-abiding citizens. Your average Joe. We're punishing them, and then we're letting all the crazies like get away with it. You're pretty much just advocating for crime. I hate to say it.
You've got two choices. What kind of compensation do you get back? Because if I'm sitting there looking at this, I might be really attached to, a firearm, and I don't want to get rid of it. But spending $500 to $600 to make it as useful as the cannons sitting outside Queen's Park that have been rendered useless, but they're there for decoration. I mean, that's what you'd have. It's a piece of decoration. That, or you get some money back. Are they offering fair compensation?
So we have no idea what they're offering because they, of course, haven't put that on the table yet. And
I thought they had released some figures.
They've got figures for retailers, and of course, retailers. It's very easy. Retailers, it's not their personal property; it's inventory that's unsellable that they've been storing and paying insurance on, and they've got invoices for importing those firearms, so they know exactly what they're worth. However, the firearms that are owned personally. I myself, I've got, I think, 14 guns that are affected by this ban, and I own 2 different AR-15s. One of them's worth about $750, and the other one's worth about $4,000. So there's no way to put a blanket amount on, let's say, there's 97,000 AR-15s caught up in this ban. There's no way to put a blanket amount on it. Some people would be making bank off of this, and some people would be very disappointed. So the problem with this program is when you're talking about collecting 500,000 guns at minimum across the country. And of course, we don't even know how many is affected.
And if you're averaging, right, if we're going to go by averages, right, and we're going to say like maybe $2,000. So then okay, let's pull out the calculator here. We're going to average it around $2,000 each gun. So 500,000, 500,000. 500,000 times $2,000 on average for each gun. Oh, fuck that! That's $1 billion. So we're gonna be putting $1 billion into a no. You know what that money could be used for? $1 billion? Police? Or is that just crazy?
But it's at least 500,000 guns, according to import records. You're talking about a program that is going to probably take decades to complete because every single firearm is going to have to be inspected and verified by a licensed verifier.
And that's it. And $1 billion, that's just paying everybody out. Because you have to like factor in the cost of storage, the cost of labor to do this. It's not even just $2,000
to determine its value. And of course, the taxpayer purse is never going to sustain this. So I'm not sure what the idea here is with Mark Carney. He's gotten rid of a lot of other really bad Trudeau era programs, and he would do well to take a second look at this because it's going to be very divisive. It's going to fail.
I hope Carney does. I hope Carney does take a look at it. Everybody's giving like so much Carney hate. I understand the Carney hate. He's doing a lot of shit that I don't like. He's pulling off a lot of bullshit, but he's doing a lot of shit that, you could say is good. Tell him to look at this. Tell him to say, hey, we're not going to touch your guns. He doesn't want to say that though, because he's going to piss off his base.
And it's not going to increase public safety in the least.
We were told that making sure you couldn't shoot your AR-15 at the range, which is where you shoot it, would make streets safer. And of course, shootings have only gone up over the last 5 years. I gave you stats for the last 10. They've also gone up over the last 5 years.
Right.
Straight across the country. So that was what they claimed. As you say, he could walk away from bad Trudeau policies. He has before. There would be a hue and cry in the media, which seems incapable at most in the media, seem incapable of looking at this issue objectively. They fail to look at readily available stats. He could just walk away from it and it would not impact crime at all.
No, and in fact, law enforcement would support it. You've got everything from the National Police Federation, which is the RCMP union, down to Toronto Police, Peel Police, Durham County Police. There isn't a law enforcement agency in the country that's cheerleading this gun ban or the gun grab or the confiscations. So, you know, there would be a minority of people who would be upset, and that would be the anti-gun lobby groups. But at the
But the
same
majority.
time, there is other options for.
And I think if he does it, gun sale. If Carney came out today or tomorrow or whenever, and he just said we're done with the buyback program. Actually, we're going to be giving all that money that we would use for the buyback to bettering our police services, mental health services, and on top of that, we are giving Canadians the right to self-defense. Those gun lobbies are going to go to the fucking. They're not even going to be heard anymore. Everybody's going to be saying like we don't give a fuck.
Government. In my opinion, they should scrap this thing entirely and instead focus their efforts and resources on stopping the flow of illegal guns. Call me crazy, but I think that would be a better route. But if nothing else, he should do a permissive grandfathering. People bought these in good faith. We've owned them for decades, if not generations, used them safely and without issue. So why are we being punished? It definitely cancels the social contract between gun owners and their government. So it's not a good policy at all.
Tracy, one of the things that you and I have talked about in the past, and this is going back several years, was how are they going to actually take possession of these firearms? And you know, from what I understand, years ago, they asked the Canadian Armed Forces and they said, no, that would look really bad and it's not our job having the military go around to people's homes and taking their guns. They've asked police forces. The OPP does not have the wherewithal to do this in Ontario. The Sûreté de Quebec do not have the wherewithal to do this in Quebec. Across the country where the RCMP, I was out in Alberta recently and they're telling me that detachments are down 30%, sometimes more, in terms of the number of officers they're supposed to have. So they don't have the ability to do this. In the national RCMP, but good luck. They don't have that many officers outside of contract policing, except in a few locations across the country. So how are they planning to do this? Are they still considering those postal outlets at Shoppers Drug Mart?
Oh, that was the funniest one of all.
Wow.
Well, it's interesting because in that interview with the Prime Minister, with Ryan Jesperson, he spoke about the confiscations, and Carney corrected him and said, these are not confiscations. And anybody saying that is misleading you. They're not confiscation. We're not going door to door and collecting these firearms. But if you rewind 2 years ago to when Dominic LeBlanc was public safety minister, right in committee, he said they would be sending law enforcement door to door. Now, of course, no law enforcement agencies want to do it, nor do they have the manpower for it.
I don't think it'd be a smart idea. You know what? They're going to... hard to... yeah. It's not a good idea to do it. I don't think it's a good idea. They don't want to do it. They don't want to take the risk. They don't want to waste their resources on, like, you know, doing no-knock warrants on all RPAL holders. They don't want to do it. They'd rather focus their efforts on real crimes. You know, and plus, it leaves a bad taste and bad favor between the public and the police, and they don't want that. Imagine if, like, you're a small town cop, right? You know these people, you hang out with these people, and you're gonna be the one treating them like a criminal, treating them like the problem. You don't want to do that. It feels morally wrong.
You know, I try and be reasonable, but I know that...
this guy's a fucking idiot, by the way. He doesn't know how to do anything. He doesn't even know what the law he's writing, which is just hilarious.
Public Safety Minister Gary Anandasangari also said that they're hiring 1,000 new RCMP officers to, you know, patrol the border and try and stop the flow of guns, drugs, human trafficking, whatever.
There's more officers too, but that's not for this program.
Well, I wonder if they will be rerouted because ultimately if the program rests on the idea that gun owners are going to voluntarily sign up for this, self-report what they've got to the government. Because aside from the AR-15s, don't forget everything else was previously non-restricted, so it was not registered. So half the problem is they've got no idea who's got what. They've got no idea where it is. They've got no idea what it's worth. And they're going to expect you to voluntarily turn it into the government.
No.
So in my estimation, the way this government seems to do things is they'll open up the program. There may be some gun owners out there who say, yeah, okay, I'm sick of sitting on these things for 5 years and not being able to use them. I'm going to turn in some of my guns, get a little bit of money so I can buy something else that I'm able to use. They'll collect a very small number of guns. They'll call it a success, and that'll be it. And everyone else will be left sitting there in possession of prohibited firearms. So I don't know. It's a huge mess, and I really think that this government needs to take a breath and just have a look at this and see, is there not some other way that they can achieve the results that they say they want, which is better public safety.
Well, let's hope that some sanity does prevail. Tracy Wilson, thanks so very much.
Thanks, Brian.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments down below. And remember, this program is costly. They have no way of getting the guns back or getting the guns, period. And they don't have a plan. So I think it's time to...
No, it's a waste of time, effort, and money. That's what it is. I want to see this one. I like Rod Giltack. I met him like a year ago, I think. Was it last year? Last year, February. Yeah, it was last year, February. I met him at the, I think it was the Sportsman Show. Really nice guy. I got a keychain there. I've been walking around with that lanyard for, like, forever. I wish I could support these guys.
Here's why you should be optimistic. We're sitting and looking at a government that had basically a new spokesperson who's supposed to be this genius economist, this pragmatist, this and that and the other thing. And he's everything Trudeau isn't and wasn't. He's going to fix it all so we don't have to vote for conservatives for whatever reason because they've been vilified for basically no reason. What has this guy done? He's done nothing. Canada's become so violent and dangerous. It is out of control. So much so even the political left is engaging in a conversation about stinking castle doctrine, man. Like, this is where we are.
That is insane, though. That is insane. This wouldn't have been, like, a thought. This wouldn't have been a thought in anybody's brain, like, 2 years ago. And now, I'm hearing, like, even people, diehard liberals, go, like, so, we were wrong. Like, that's insane. That is insane.
And it happened really fast. Look at the economy, the genius economist. He's never been an economist, but anyway, whatever. We'll just go along with the propaganda for a minute. The genius economist is residing over the largest deficit spending since COVID, and they haven't funded any projects. It's just handing money out, hand over fist, expanding the government still. Immigration is still through the roof, even though we know that there are serious economic consequences, along with public safety, by the way, attached to immigration. And that immigration should have been halted entirely. And it's not bad to say that. It's just it's math, man, right? We have an economy that's contracting. We have a guy that said he's going to make a deal with the US. He knows how to deal. There's like no deal. We're in a worse position now than we were before. You already see it reflecting in the polls. A lot of these polls are already shifting. His honeymoon only lasted 6 months.
Yeah, I don't think it lasted 6. I don't think it lasted 3 months because everybody saw, like, you know, Trump was getting shit done in the States. They're all like, oh shit, this guy's actually getting some shit done, like with Trump. And then Carney comes in. It's like, yeah, he's gonna beat that guy. He's gonna beat Trump. He's gonna be so much better. Canada's gonna be awesome. And Carney comes in and he's twiddling his thumbs. And it's like, the fuck are you doing, bro? Why aren't you getting shit done? It's like, you know, I am getting shit done. I signed this bill and that bill, and it's like, congrats. You brought it back like 2 weeks later. People see that.
And you'd think that he would do a couple of things.
Big drama.
Basically, the carbon tax. Took it back. And now prices are going up again for gas, and specifically. As far as other moving parts, you have the NDP. They're sitting there. They don't even have official party status. Got 7 stinking seats, man. They were the official opposition, if you remember, when Tom Mulcair was around. Angry Tom. Even he's like, what is going on? So the NDP really don't have much to lose by triggering an election whenever it works for them. The Conservatives will trigger an election whenever it works for them as well. You have the Bloc, God knows what those guys are doing, right? But they're certainly not helping Quebec. I'm not sure how long this government's going to last. It might not even last a year. There's a lot of people speculating, thinking that there's going to be an election either called or forced, a non-confidence vote, before 1 year from this November, because that's when the US midterms are. So there's a bunch of other geopolitical stuff going on. That's interesting to me. If we can hang on through there and we can solve this problem at that point, a political solution, then
Canada
maybe
basically
we'll be able
shot
to
them.
hang on.
Canada
Maybe we'll
basically
be able to
shot
turn
itself in
this
the
back.
foot to spite
So
Trump.
we have a lot of moving pieces here, a lot of moving parts.
Full stop.
That could cause things to change very rapidly, very quickly. Now, how would it be if I started listening to the people in the comments, or listening to other groups, or listening to other people going like, oh, don't do nothing, just fold? It's like, oh yeah, wouldn't that be nice, right? So anyway, we're not folding anytime soon. We're not listening to people. There's like, yeah, do nothing or give up. No, man, that's not at all what we're going to do. Now that we've solved, we have established once and for all that this government is going to act exactly the same as the last government, shut out anybody that doesn't agree with their agenda. There's nothing to lose by punching these people in the face every stinking chance we get. And that's what we're going to continue to do. Punch them in the face as hard as we can every single chance we get.
Those aren't good words to use nowadays. Rod. I love you. Mr. Geltaka, I love you. But, is it Rod? God damn it. I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Rod. Okay, I'm saying it right. I don't know why I thought, wait, is it Rod or is it Rob? I knew it was, I knew Giltaka. My apologies. Anyway, listen, you can't be saying this stuff anymore. You can't. You just can't be. It's not good to use that kind of language. It's a little inflammatory, homie. I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. I know you don't mean actually like go out into the streets.
And I got ideas, and as long as we're still supported, I got resources to do it, and we're going to continue to do it. So you can use your imagination about what we're going to do.
They're not even at 100,000 yet. We got to get these guys to
I
100,000.
promised that we were going to do something in the election, something bigger than ever, and we did. And we did it right, and we got our audit in on time. We do everything right, everything perfect, basically. So we're going to continue to do that, and we got things to do. So hopefully you're coming along for that journey with us, because it isn't over, like I said, until the last gun is gone or we get everything back. Those are the two outcomes. We won't stop until one of those two happens.
If you're not subscribed, please do that. The notification bell is great. Yeah, if you want to be notified when we do a new video, great. If you don't, that's okay too. But if you can subscribe, that would be awesome. I'd really like to see us get to
No, I subscribed. I like too.
100,000 subscribers.
You got to get to 100,000. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? 96K? Get that to 100,000, buddy. Don't worry. Self-defense. Yeah, that's weird. The whole self-defense thing.
There's a really interesting conversation going on in Canada right now around self-defense, and by extension.
By the way, if anybody from the United States doesn't understand, self-defense here is completely illegal. Completely illegal. I know they say you can defend yourself and blah blah blah, but you have to be reasonable. It's up to an officer's discretion. Majority of the time, it's going to be you're going to jail. You're going to jail. You're going to holding. Like, it's not going to be, it's not going to be a good time. Even the cops are saying like your best bet is to just submit. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's because it is.
People having firearms or other weapons for the purpose of self-defense. Why don't you walk us into that, Ms. Wilson?
Yeah, well, of course, as you know, there's rising crime and violence across the country. These armed home invasions are out of control. There's been a lot of really horrific things going on. At times like this, you strike up a national conversation. Everyone from every political stripe is talking about it. And of course, conservatives traditionally are tough on crime. That's part of what their whole thing is.
That's their
and
shtick.
they've been talking about bail reform. They've been talking about castle law. And of course, Sean Fraser, the Minister of Justice and Attorney General for Canada, just rejects this altogether, right? He put out a tweet saying, this is not the Wild West. And I think that's cold comfort to people who have had their doors kicked in by a bunch of armed thugs coming in the middle of the night and harming them or their
Family members
potentially their
killed.
family.
Yep.
Yeah. Like talking about Wild West, watching an armed home invasion video where 5 thugs kick in a door
And
they
you
both
can't do
own
anything
handguns
about
and
it.
they're
Like, you'll see 5 dudes coming in, they're busting down the door, and like, what can you do? Submit. That's what they literally say. They say submit. Even if it isn't that much, like let's say there isn't that many home invasions. No, there's not that many home invasions. There's like 250 home invasions in the year, right? Armed home invasions. Only 250, right? Population of 40 million people, 250? That's nothing. That is nothing. It's nothing now, though. Here's what I mean by it's nothing now. Eventually, because the cops just up and said to everybody, like, don't do anything about it. And legally, you can't do anything about it. This was an announcement. It's only like this now because everybody is still trying to be a good faith actor in society. But the more and more you start pushing people to the other side, to, the crime and such, the more and more you're going to see these problems happening. And if there's nothing to counter that, and you're refusing to allow any counter to that, don't be mad or don't be shocked when everybody starts hating on you. Like, or like when you start getting pushback or when you're getting criticism. This is why.
Your wife and children, that feels like the Wild West. In the Wild West, these guys would already be dragged by, through town by a horse by now. So, yeah. So Sean Fraser has been eating dirt all week on this. This is not the Wild West comment. I've even seen journalists quote tweeting crime stories with the screenshot of his tweet. So it's been going very badly for Mr. Sean Fraser, but he should be used to that.
Crime stories. Imagine that. It's like, this is not the Wild West. Proceeds to show him the Wild West.
Who are your kind of your daily duty guys. And then you've got your spokespeople, your brass, who are, I think Loberg called them a spokespolitician. So York Regional Police Chief McSween recently had to walk back some comments. He said in a press conference that the best way for you to survive.
He walked back. I remember that. So this guy pretty much just said to everybody, like, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Because he basically told everyone to, like, hide or submit, like, comply. The best thing to save your life is comply. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. This shit was funny. Well, not funny. It's funny to me because I have like a sick sense of humor. Like, I love dumb, ironic humor. Here it is.
In the unlikely event that you find yourself the victim of a home invasion, we are urging...
No, not unlikely. It's likely. All right? It's ever-growing likely. You should be using your words properly. In the ever-growing likeliness of a home invasion.
Citizens not to take matters into their own hands. While we don't want homeowners to feel powerless...
Yes, you do. Hold on. You say one thing, and then you contradict... Okay, sorry. I'll let it play out. Sorry.
To their own hands. While we don't want homeowners to feel powerless, we urge you to call 911 and do everything you can to keep yourself and loved ones safe until police arrive and be the best witness possible. This could mean locking yourself in a room away from the perpetrators, hiding, fleeing the home.
You literally just said remain powerless.
But don't engage unless absolutely necessary. When we have a weekend like we just had, it's easy to understand our community is feeling unsafe. But let me say this once again.
And he said this after a huge tragic event. Like, you literally had someone who followed the rules, did everything he could, hid, and then he only fought back when he absolutely had to, when he died for it. And then you go out here and say, oh, by the way, we want to urge everybody to not do anything collectively. As a collective, we want you to remain unsafe. Or to keep putting yourself in situations that would keep you unsafe. Like, no. You had to walk that back. That's
a safe
insane.
Place to live. And our service is doing everything possible to investigate these crimes and to maintain public safety. But as I mentioned, It is a shared responsibility, and we need the commitment of everyone in our community, including the criminal justice system, to ensure our region remains safe and secure. In closing, I'd just like to remind the public that as a police service, our top priority is the safety of all of our communities. And I know that these incidents have had a devastating impact on the families involved and the broader community.
Do you have any concerns about the fact that the Premier is saying you should stand up for yourself and you should defend yourself?
No, I have no concerns. The Premier can make his own statement and his own mind up about that. What I would say is, as a police service, we'll follow the laws as they're written. If the laws change, we'll change with the laws. But as it stands, we know the best defense for most people is to comply. As you've just heard, a number of...
Can you make your own statements? I want to see how you feel about it. I want to see, do you feel like these laws are dumb? If I want you to start saying something controversial. I want you to come out here and say to everybody, these laws are dumb. You're fucked. You're fucked. They're dumb laws, but they're the laws on the books. We got to enforce them. Tell your politicians to change the laws. Don't come to me. I want you to push back. I want you to stop fucking sitting here and saying we're just following orders.
Safety recommendations.
You can say that, or you can do it, but you can't
those
say
that are victimizing members in the community to leave and not harm anyone. It sometimes can fall on deaf ears when members feel like they have to take matters into their own hands. And the only thing I'd say is, if we are going to rely on our community members to take matters into their own hands to solve this problem, we have all failed our community. So
you did.
I don't. I'll leave political comments to the politicians and let them have those conversations. But for now, the laws are written. We'll follow those laws. Advice is to rely.
Oh, wow. Oh, I feel bad now. I feel bad for what I just said. Because he can't. Okay, I feel bad now because he legit just said it. We failed. I mean, he said it kind of in a dismissive way, but yeah. No, that he just said, okay, I don't think anybody noticed this, but he literally just said that he failed. They failed the community. Because they did fail their community. And it's the politicians who, failed the system.
Service, call 911 immediately and let us take it from there. We see more often than not when people comply that, injuries are not happening and people are not victimized in terms of injury or in this case, unfortunately, we've seen the loss of life in some of these incidents.
Damn, that's depressing. But yeah, that was like what she was referring to.
One of these violent attacks or armed home invasions is to comply. And I think, that rubs people the wrong way because first, I don't think you can comply your way out of violence, first of all. And I think he just really expressed himself badly. So, of course, he's walked that back.
I think so, too. I think that's not what he tried to make it come off as, but he did it. It came off that way. Because it just did. That's a fact.
He's since said, of course, Canadians should do whatever they need to do to protect their lives and the lives of the people they care about. But yeah, it just shows how this is a complex conversation. And when we've long had a self-defense policy on our website, even self-defense with firearms, we've been vocal about it. We've long said it. We've been called every name in the book, extremists and, trigger happy gun nuts and all kinds of crazy talk for even thinking about this conversation. And now it is 100% mainstream. I go to my grandson's school and the soccer moms out front are talking about it. The Facebook groups, everybody's talking about it. So yeah, unfortunately it is the Wild West, Sean Fraser. It's just not the way that you're implying that it is. So
well,
Wild West for the criminals.
It is. Yeah, it absolutely is. The reality is so much different than liberal gaslighting talking points, right? But yes. Something else that sparked this this story up was the individual who had he was having a home invasion. Some guy's crawling through his daughter's window with a crossbow, and he I think he used a knife to defend himself
Yeah,
and
he
his
did
his
stab
daughter. And this guy was critically injured, though he survived. And then the police
That was random. Sorry, somebody posted a meme in my general chat, and it's not appearing. What the fuck was that? Sorry.
Charge him. And you know, then of course this creates this conversation about castle doctrine. And we've had a I'll correct you a little bit. We've had a policy on self-defense with firearms since the CCFR became an organization. That policy is still sitting there on our website. And it basically talks about castle doctrine because it's a human right. Apparently you have the right of self-defense, just don't hurt your attacker if they're trying to kill you. And we, you know, just to agree with you, we avoided the conversation about armed self-defense for a long time because there's nothing more powerful, I guess, as the old metaphor was, there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And that also applies to conversations, right? So I'll give you, we were just talking before we started recording. If you remember back, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, being canceled was a real problem. Like that actually had real world effects. And as an organization, we were very careful because it's like, well, we don't want to be canceled because we still want people to listen to our message.
Nowadays,
So we
nobody
had to
gives a
put
shit
lot
if
of
you're
effort
canceled.
into making
People
sure
are
that our
canceled all the
message,
time, and it's like, okay,
was
who
very
cares?
clean and didn't upset people too much because that's what was required at the time for us to still be part of the conversation. We had to wait. It's almost like when people want political change. No one wants political change because to do nothing is the easiest thing until they really start to suffer. That's what's got to happen to Canadians. They have to suffer more economically for them to figure out at least the segment of the population.
Well, we've been suffering, and everybody's still like, you know, they went back to the old adage. It's like, oh my God, my life is horrible. Let me bring back the people who have done everything in their power to keep making my life horrible. It's like, it takes masochism to a new level, in my opinion. It's really stupid. It was a really dumb decision, but you know what? It's what everybody wanted. And now it's funny because it's like everybody's complaining like, oh my God, Carney's doing nothing. We're still poor. We're still broke. We're still hungry. And it's like, don't talk to me. You want this. I don't want to talk to you about this. You wanted this. Don't come to me complaining how much you hate it and do nothing to fix it.
Population that went elbows up in the last election.
And it's easy just to blame politicians, right? It's like a lot of these people, like, you know, they don't do anything, like they don't invest, they don't save. There's a lot of other factors that they don't do. Like there's a lot of things we have to do in this world nowadays because the economy's changed, life has changed. But when, you know, you have government sticking their nose into the economy, it's not helping as well. So you got to find you got to at least go for, you know, the one government that kind of aligns more to what you're trying to get done. Like for yourself. But I think everybody's so like inclined to like feel so virtuous and entitled. It's like they're shooting themselves in the foot or like, you know, they're doing things that hurts everybody trying to help like one specific group. In doing so, you've done nothing for that specific group and you ended up hurting yourself and everyone in the process. It's stupid.
They'll need to suffer and really lose things before they'll go, oh yeah, we can't spend money endlessly because it drives up the cost of everything. Same thing with self-defense. Things had to get to a point where people see it's real to them. Then they're like, yeah, I don't want to be a victim of violence. You know, maybe I should be pushing for better rights for self-defense and castle doctrine and the ability to own and use firearms for self-defense. The problem is, this is the truth, okay? So this is the bare truth. In Canada, the bureaucracy and the government have been pushing to make sure that no one ever associates self-defense with use of firearms. And they'll refuse your license. They have the ability to do that. We don't have codified rights, all this stuff. Why? People wonder why. And I'll tell you why. Because if it ever starts if we ever start connecting self-defense and firearms together, firearms start to look like a right.
Yeah.
And they don't ever want that. Why? Because the state, meaning the bureaucracy and the government and the media are their accomplices in this. They want to make sure that they have a monopoly on force. You come with hat in hand for them to educate you, for them to provide your health care, for them to protect you, for them to discipline you, for them to discipline others. They want to run everything. And they can't do that if you're independent. right? So they
yeah.
don't like that at all, right? So after a while, you'd be like, I don't want to pay for your services because they're not working. I'll do it myself. And that starts to,
That's scary.
That's a problem for these
That's
people.
a scary
So,
thought.
Anyway, the time for this conversation has come. And I think most people are looking at law enforcement. Sorry to talk so long, but this is actually personally very important to me. But the time has come for people even to look at government and police and say, whose side are you on once and for all? We know what side the liberal government's been on. It's been on the side of criminals and terrible people against law-abiding people. That is incontrovertible. That is not controversial to say. It's demonstrably true.
No, it is
And now
true.
people are
It is true because like look at how repeat offenders are treated and how like the justice system has like completely failed normal average everyday citizens, and look at how like we villainize the police. We have dehumanized individuals who protect themselves, but we've humanized individuals who commit heinous acts. Like it's like, oh, why do they do this? What led them to do this? They shouldn't be treated as such because they're people too. They just have they've just been given a bad rep, or the shittier end of the stick, and it's like it's not working. And hold on. Sorry, I just got to deal with likely ban evader on Twitch. Twitch chat here. Give me 1 second.
Looking at police and the media and the bureaucracy and saying, whose side are you going to be on? And this is a really important conversation. And I am extremely glad that it's happening despite what it took for us to get here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think we're reasonable people. I think seeing stuff happening like that 8-year-old that was took a stray bullet while in bed, like that stuff is just so damaging and traumatic to communities. And to think about that, like when I read that story, I was like, oh my word, and I can go upstairs and look at my grandson and think, like, I can't fathom that, right? Or thinking about somebody crawling through his window, and that for most people that's never going to happen, but for everyone that it did happen to,
For most people, it's not going to happen to. Like, and that's true even in the United States. But like the option, you kind of want the options. I feel like we could get that number down like less.
I didn't expect it either. So you don't know what you don't know. It could happen to anybody, and there's no way to know somebody's intentions. If they're coming in, busting in your door, 5 guys with handguns, how do you know they're just there for the TV? You don't know. And yeah, it is an important, timely.
They could be there for the TV. They could be there for your money. They could be there for like anything. Who cares? Right? Like everyone thinks like, oh, insurance or whatever. And it's like insurance premiums are going to go through the roof. So it's like, hold on. I got to now spend $800 a month on house insurance, but I can't spend, $500 on a Mossberg. It's a one-time payment. It's bureaucracy.
Discussion. Unfortunately, it comes with a terrible cost, and
Yeah.
I feel bad about that.
It does. But like I said, I'm glad that we're having that conversation now. And we can't let up on that. If you've been following the CCFR social media, you've seen that we've been really amplifying that topic because it's important to us. It's been important to us from day one, and now's the time to do it. So, if you have people in your life and you've been with, having this gun debate or self-defense with firearm debates, if they are maybe someone that voted for another solution other than the Conservatives, maybe have a talk with those people because, people taking the law into their own hands or defending themselves with firearms in an urban scenario where there's other housing, like that is not a perfect solution, but it is the moral solution. It's morally right because everyone has the moral right to fight for their life if someone else is trying to take it.
Yeah.
Full stop. No one should have governance over that.
That should not be controversial.
Yeah.
It is though, but it shouldn't.
It is. There are people that will argue against
There you
that.
go.
You know what their arguments are? Very feeble. It's like, well, we're not the states. Like, what does that even mean? But anyway, I'm not even gonna get
like that too. Like, we're not the United States. I'm pretty sure like other countries, like I'm pretty sure Ukraine, Poland, I think Jamaica too. Don't quote me on that. I think my grandmother told me though, but that was years ago. But there are so many different countries that allow its citizenry to take up arms to protect themselves. Like, it's not just the United States. And there were countries that even before the United States was even, you know, even existed, there were countries that allowed you to do that. So this isn't a new concept. I don't know where this is coming from. It's just there's just so much disdain and vigor towards the United States where you're literally just harming yourself to spite somebody else who doesn't even think or care about you. You know, it's so weird. Like, you're putting so much effort into hating the US. It's like you're willing to make your life more miserable if it makes you feel like you're better than the other person. It's like, that'd be like if like somebody says to me, it's like, oh, I'm noble, I don't do this, I don't do that. You know, like, oh, what's that? You invest your money into the stock market? You invest your money? I don't do that. Why? Because I'm better than you. I'm more noble. I feel like I like it when my money is earned. You know, I don't like it when you get all your money for doing nothing. And it's like, I earn my money, but I also have some money that works for me. It's like, no. You know what I mean? If that's a good analogy for somebody to understand, I hope it's a good analogy, but you know, that's kind of like what it feels like.
That's lazy. That's
Well, yeah,
stupid.
they got nothing, right?
Yeah.
Well, move to the States then. It's like, no, I live here. You move.
Yeah, why do I gotta move to the States? And this goes into like the next video, because this was a very interesting video. I didn't watch it fully, but I watched a bit of it. But yeah, it's like, why do I have to uproot my entire life just because you want to be an idiot? That makes no sense. It's not fair. You know, like, I live here. I live here. My family's here. I don't want to like change my entire life for this.
Somewhere else. So move to North Korea or the UK. Hey, look at the UK right now. What a great place.
Yeah,
for these
you
people to
move.
to.
You want to infringe upon my
think
rights
they'd
and
like it
liberties.
They'd probably love
People are getting arrested for tweeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh God, can you imagine how much time I'd do?
Yeah.
If you're not subscribed, please do that.
Oh, I would be cuffed. I'd be cuffed, the key thrown away. That's an interesting video.
So this is by far one of the most popular questions I've seen gun owners who live in the state of California get, and it's, why not just leave?
Because your family's there. Your family's there. Your life is there. You're not going to uproot your life to just appease the few.
There's so many free states like Montana, Texas, Florida, Arizona, our neighbors in Nevada. You know, the list goes.
You know what? I think I'm done with this topic. I want to find something else. I pretty much said my piece. If you want to see more of it, you can just like literally watch his
like
video.
in certain states, California.
Other than that, now my YouTube is full of GunTube. That's funny. Watched a few videos, and now this is my entire YouTube recommendation.
Well, let us have.
I think that's enough drama for today. I think, you know what? I think we covered enough drama. Covered some, you know, we covered some of the Kirk stuff. We covered some of the Kimmel stuff. Covered some of the Canadian stuff too. You know, it's good to you know, bring in some Canadian content because, you know, Canadian streamer. But yeah, this was fun. It was a good stream. Tomorrow I'm gonna play Tarkov. I meant to do this stream earlier, but I woke up. I meant to do the stream at 11, but I woke up at 11. So, but I still had to get it done anyways. So I'm glad I got it done. I think tomorrow is gonna be Tarkov. It's, you know, Tarkov Tuesday. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'm gonna go edit and have a good one.